Last conducted census in Nigeria was in 2006. The population was put at 140.43 million people. In the past few years, the country's population is set to be over 200 million. The United Nations World Population Prospects for 2022 projects that there are 216 million people in Nigeria, making it home to 2.7% of the global population and sixth most populous nation in the world.
I don't think it's an accurate number, and I'm guessing that the real number is lower than 219 million. Whether it's 10 million lower or 30 million lower, I'm not sure. But whatever the number is, we're a big country. Whether we're going to be the third largest population country, some people say, or not, I'm not sure. But I think the focus of the government should be, one, is making sure that we continue to develop in the sense of education in particular, healthcare in particular for women and children, and that's one of the major drivers for women to have less children. There's higher rates of children surviving, and then people have less children. As they urbanize, they have less children. As they're more educated, they have less children. So those things the government should focus on.
While Nigeria maintains its bragging rights as the most populous nation on the African continent, could the rising number be a cause for worry?
We should be concerned about our population growth rate, because what it does is that no matter how much you are growing, unless you are growing at 10–12%, you are actually taking away from the living standards of our people.
A cross-section of Nigerians agree with the professor.
You cannot cater for yourself and giving birth to like 12–15 children. Come, it's very bad. What do you want them to do? At times you just leave the children out the streets. It's not right.
I really think there should be a legislation to checkmate it. We can take a cue from China, which at a point they found out that they couldn't contain it. So they brought up legislations, incentives to make people not to have multiple children and multiple births. So I think that's the way to go.
The chief economist at PwC, however, disagrees. He believes that adopting China's one-child policy, which spanned between 1980 to 2016, is not only draconian, but counterproductive in the long run.
We don't need to go to that, because we've seen so many other countries, India I've cited, Thailand, Brazil. If you simply have women in particular more educated, they're going to take more control of their reproductive futures. And of course, as the population gets wealthier, they realize it's important for the kids to be educated to be able to participate fully in the economy, which means that you have less children because you can't necessarily afford to put so many kids through school or support them in that way. So it's a natural process that's happened in many, many countries.
A few others say the number of children they have or plan to has little or no impact on Nigeria's economic woes.
No, I don't think to reduce population is a very good something, because like me, I'm the only child of my mother, and she wished me to born plenty because she did not succeed to born plenty. I have to do that. If I have opportunity, I will born plenty, because like me, I will born like 6.
But with headline inflation at 21.5%, food inflation at 23.7%, driven by disruption in the supply of food products, increase in the cost of importation due to persistent currency depreciation and high energy cost, Nigeria's rapidly growing population could be detrimental to its economic and social development. Checking Nigeria's growing population or not will make an interesting debate. But population and economic experts say one incontestable fact remains that a large population without requisite education or skills is a disaster in the making. The United Nations projects that world population could grow to 8.5 billion in 2030, 9.7 billion in 2050, and 10.4 billion in 2080. Now that tells us that as long as the natural right of humans to reproduce is uninterrupted, Nigeria and the world will continue to welcome new humans. Now, how the government chooses to use this growing number to its advantage is a bigger issue unaddressed in Nigeria. However, what you choose to do with your natural right to reproduce is up to you and yours. Onyi Sunday, Arise News.